Hello. We built a house and we're in it right now. And we love it. So we want to kind of talk about what the experience was like, just reminiscing on it, almost like a journal entry here. I have a few notes to refer to. So first of all, what was our experience of building a house? If you had to tell someone in a sentence or two or a paragraph, how would you describe the experience?
I probably would lead with it was worth it. I was thinking about this today that whenever you hear about other people like building or putting in extra hours after work or up early in the morning or whatever, like it always seems like really like awe-inspiring and impressive. And then I was like, but we did that, and it didn't really feel as awe-inspiring or impressive like when you're doing it. But overall, it was tough. It was a lot of work, but it was also really, really worth it to have our home and to know that we did a huge chunk of it ourselves. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know it was really stressful and overwhelming, but the leading emotion for me was I enjoyed it and it was working toward a purpose. I love handyman type work. I love getting in a zone for 14 hours straight. So I got to kind of do things that I loved, and even though it was very challenging living in a small space and not seeing you very much, I feel like time kind of flew by at the same time once the build actually started.
Oh yeah, and well, part of it was you didn't have time to think.
No,
really
you
much.
didn't.
Someone was always putting in hours at the house or wrangling the two kids in essentially a one-room basement.
Yeah, so for context, we had two kids. When we started the build, we had a 3 or 4 month old and a 2-year-old. And then at the end, 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So it was a lot. Like, I couldn't imagine anyone telling me, oh yeah, I had 2 little toddlers and we put in this many hours.
Yeah, right.
But we did it somehow, and obviously a huge part of that was others' support.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
yeah, the people were incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get more into that, but let's start with, maybe a brief timeline of kind of how things played out.
Yeah.
So we weren't necessarily planning to build so suddenly, but we saw a piece of land and just a lot of things were firing, and in a short period of time, we did a ton of research and decided that we were going to take this plunge. And in August of 2024, when Arvin was 3 months old, we were doing that research and ultimately decided that we might pursue this path. And that included needing a place to live or a plan for living during that time.
Right, because we would have to sell we needed the financial
Yeah.
boost from the sale of our home for sure. So
Right. And so I had always known that my family had that as an opportunity that they were willing to offer. And so I asked them, and they were pretty quick to agree. I am so beyond grateful for that, because it is the reason why we were able to do this.
Absolutely.
It saved us probably tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
That along with the babysitting my mom provided.
Yes.
So that was honestly the reason this happened, if I had to pick one thing. So we moved very quickly into my parents' house in the middle of September 2024, and then listed our house. We didn't really want to have a bunch of people coming to look at the house while our babies were napping, and it just felt better to get it all cleaned out and prepped and not have to think about it too much. So
and so then we listed, and we were, I guess we would say we're on the sort of the tail end of the real estate craze. So we thought we might sell, we still might sell in 2 days or something, because our house, when we purchased, it was, by far a seller's market. And so we were hoping to kind of catch that as well. And I think we were on the tail end of that before prices.
And our home had issues,
shifted a little bit.
Oh,
right.
It was a very old home with concerns that would deter a lot of buyers. So we really had to trust that this was something God was inspiring, and we both felt he was so deeply, to just not really be worrying about it.
Right.
It was on the market for a month before it got any offers, and then we got almost 2 offers in one day.
Yep.
But that was in October.
Yep. Beginning of October, I believe.
Yeah. So at that point, we also were bidding on the land or trying to get the land because land is so expensive. And this lot that we got, or whatever you call it, this 7.5 acres, it was very affordably priced. And I'm not sure if we could have built if we went on any other piece of land on the market because
wanting acreage and everything.
Right. I mean, even small lots were going for 50K. So this plot was only, or lot was only 35-ish, somewhere in there, 35K. And we were very blessed to get it. There are some things about it that would make it undesirable, like having the train tracks and a fast highway,
sandwich between
which probably was in our favor. But we did something kind of stupid. We bought the land without even looking at it much. So there was...
We had walked it a little bit or taken peeks, but we didn't do surveying or really take huge looks at how buildable it was.
Yeah, so we were kind of in the process of closing on the land when we first came out to walk it. And let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we hired a company, actually a little ways away from us, but they do surveying and soil tests and things like that. And so came up, and our first, in our head where we were going to build was going to be on one side of the property, the east side of the property. And we were hoping, because there's kind of a gravel road that comes off of the main highway, and we're hoping to maybe use that.
A little more privacy, maybe,
But then it became pretty apparent really quickly that would take a lot of filling and building up, a good base to build on. So that was going to be out of our price range and wasn't going to happen. And then it was looking like, well, shoot, the majority of your land might be like that. And so I think, at least I had kind of like a sinking feeling of like,
extremely concerned.
Great. So we just bought this place, and it's going to cost us tens of thousands maybe to get soil in and dirt in to make it buildable. But then we found, not quite halfway into the proproperty, but
about central.
Lower. Yeah, roughly central. Found a spot that was just far away enough from the highway to pass code, but then also was a sizable chunk where we would have our foundation laid, could put a foundation in and also have some other yard space. So that was good.
I didn't have much of a sinking feeling, even though our first pick didn't turn out for the area, because my dad cuts trees for a living. So I kind of knew this was the part of the lot that had the bigger, more established and certain types of trees that were much more promising. So I kind of had it in my head, I think that will be a good spot. So thankfully we were right. We walked through and we just felt complete relief. Just like, this is it, just some confirmation. And it was a beautiful, heavily wooded lot.
Yes.
So we ended up...
And I would say we didn't think it was that. We knew it was wooded.
We didn't realize until
but
we
it was
did
like,
the clearing.
we'll clear, and we got lots of these, whatever they are, aspens and things like that. Like, we'll be able to take them down. They're not that big. But then
they were
you just don't really
think.
notice again and how many of them there are.
Oh, hundreds.
Doesn't really
of trees.
sink into your head when you're like you can easily walk through it.
Yeah.
And make your way, and you're like, oh yeah, this won't be that bad.
Yeah.
But they're way taller than you realize, and there's way more of them, and so clearing ended up being a huge job.
Yeah, and that overlapped with our sale of the house too.
Yep.
So we were so lucky to have our first offer go completely through the entire process, accept all of our terms and negotiations.
Negotiate back and forth a little. But
and we got a large chunk of our home equity to help support this. And that was one of those final moments of this is happening. This is gonna happen, we can do this. And then at that same time we were clearing. Now technically most banks would not want you to do anything with the property until you start the loan. Yeah. We didn't really even think about it. We're like, this is our land, we're gonna prep it, we're gonna do as much as we can. And they ended up being okay with it. They didn't even seem to notice the clearing, but they did notice the driveway. Anyways, so my dad, like I said, he does tree cutting and has for his whole life. And so we had him as a resource, and he was generous to provide his services for half off, which is awesome.
He still got paid, but greatly helped us out.
He works like a madman, guys. So between him and a bunch of people who chose to help us clear, and then ourselves putting in so many hours of hauling and such, we were clearing. We probably cleared for about a month in the fall.
I mean, all said and done. And it was one of those things where even your dad, though, like even his quote on the time was like, "Oh yeah, we'll really get this done." And I can't remember what he said, if it was 3 days or a week or whatever it was. And then after a couple days of working out here, he was like, "Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit longer than we thought."
Yeah, there was one. So we did 2 full days with my dad.
Yep.
That I remember for sure. And on the first day, we did get through a big chunk, but there was still a lot left. So on the second day, he just went crazy felling trees, just felling. He cut 100 trees in the last 45 minutes, like just constant felling, which was hard on him, but he did it. And so then we just had layers and layers and layers of
all
trees.
laying on each other.
It was like when you saw it, it almost was unreal. I was just like, how are we going to get through this? But we did. We worked hours after school. We worked on a Saturday. I did 6 hours or something, you know, and we got it cleared out pretty well before the snow ever fell. But we didn't have any time to do anything else on the land that fall.
Yep, so it just kind of sat.
So at this point, we're living with my family. That was, I would say, on the side of the things you would expect to be challenging living with your family, it was great.
Yeah.
We had our own separate family dynamics. We ate dinner in our own spaces.
Yep.
We
lived essentially in 2 separate apartments almost.
We were on the basement level. However, we didn't have a bathroom or kitchen down there. And they needed to access food storage and tend the fire. So we were constantly overlapping, but ultimately we had some of our own privacy.
Yeah.
And I would say in that aspect, like we didn't have any fights about that. That was great. Just it was a little challenging to be in my childhood home again and witnessing a sibling going through hard times and just being triggered by that. And so there was some challenge emotionally for me, but beyond that, it was...
I say, it just being kind of cooped up in a basement where you don't have a lot of windows or, like I said, easy access to a bathroom or a kitchen or going outside is just, a little more of a hassle to climb the stairs. And
there were definitely days, long days in there, like let's say Marshall worked before and after school on the house, where I would just feel like I'm going crazy because the room that we mostly were in during the day was quite small. Like you see behind us, it was maybe like 2/3 of what you see behind us. It was not massive at all. And so it was challenging, but again, I'm just so grateful we had that opportunity, and I'm so grateful they hosted us.
No, absolutely.
The winter was plumb full with planning, and I took on most of that because you were working full time. And I am good at planning. I have a vision for stuff. And I took a little break in December, but then in January and February, I just researched full-time weeks to the point where the kids were like, Mom. And I'm like, no, I got to do this. I was putting in hundreds of hours because we wanted to do a lot ourselves. And our lender that we found allowed this, but required a full business plan per se of anything that you were going to do yourself. You needed a full item list. And you needed to have all your contractors on board and communicated with, and just have it all ready to go so that hopefully when it started, it would go smoothly, which it did.
It did. Yeah, you did a great job there. Yeah, making sure all the boxes were checked and communicating back and forth with the bank and making sure that you had exactly everything they wanted and needed. And
the biggest part of that was researching the electrical, because I decided to take on wiring our home as one way to save money. Because keep in mind, we're not rich people. We're not building because we're rich. We're not building to get our dream. We're building to have reasonable space affordably. And so money was always thought about, and not splurging on a lot, and just wanting to have a reasonable loan that we can afford for the rest of however long it takes to pay it off.
Yeah, and it was a time where we were going to soon need a larger home due to our hopes for family and things like that.
Yeah.
And just our needs. But anything we looked at that, even checked off, 60% of our list was $50,000+ higher than our budget. And so we started looking into this and actually started kind of crunching numbers, and we're like, well, it's going to be close, and we're going to have to do a big chunk of it, but it will be more affordable, and we'll have something that's much more, something that fits our hopes and dreams a lot more.
Yeah.
And so,
Now, I will say, generally speaking, if you have lofty goals and you want to build affordably at the same time, probably not going to happen. It is very expensive to build. if you aren't extremely careful and saying no to things that you would have wanted. So that was huge. You know, we did basically all of the planning for how much this was going to cost up front. And we probably spent about what we expected when we got
more, but it wasn't by much.
Yeah, when we got the loan, like how much they were going to offer us. Yeah. We spent maybe a little more than that, but we did a lot of it cash. So our loan size is actually a lot smaller than that. Correct. So I would say we did pretty dang well staying within. So I guess I'll just take a second to explain like the size of our house and the money quick, and then we'll get back to the storyline. So we have a 28 by 48 slab. It's a full 2-level with a single stall garage attached on the bottom level. So our living square footage is around 2,100 square feet, and we built for under 300K. And that meant the land and the prep and the utility, like the well and septic, all the finish work, all the professional labor. So like that is pretty unheard of. We are in northern Minnesota. It's a fairly rural area, but even still here, that is pretty insane. So we're very proud of ourselves, the hard work we put in, and also the contractors who gave us affordable, fair prices. Obviously, they are worth what they charged and more, and just being generous too with us. A lot of them we knew personally, which was awesome, but they didn't give us some huge discounted price, but they definitely were very generous and fair with us.
And so we hired out half of the clearing. Is that what you would say? Half
through my dad, we'll say that.
Dirt work, driveway, leveling, get everything set. We hired out cement, our foundation. We hired out the drilling for a well. We hired out the putting up of the frame, the exterior of the house, and then the frame in of the rooms. We looked into that, and actually I spent a lot of research looking into
framing.
Interior framing.
We were prepared to do it, but
we got we ended up getting his bid back. It was like
it was worth it after crunching the numbers. It was like, nah.
Absolutely.
And then we got exterior windows and doors. We got obviously a septic. And then inside we got plumbing and heating. Everything else from insulation, electrical,
drywall,
all the finish work, flooring, drywall, trim,
cabinets.
I built our cabinets from scratch.
Paint.
All of that was us. And somehow we were able to do that within, including the cabinets, it was within like 6 months. But actually here, 4 months. So let's get back to the storyline really quick. No, you're good. So after preparing for this loan, I kind of got back into, all right, let's get this loan going in March. And it finally was initiated by early May. Took so long, guys. Always start before when you think you need to. And so we actually did have some driveway done in late April. And that's where it was a little bit like, oh, did you do this? I think if we'd done slab, it would have been more of an issue. But because we were just doing some of the preparatory stuff that was lower stakes, they were okay. They just said, okay, well, we just need to make that adjustment. And we didn't get charged or anything. So we had our driveway done late April. And then in May, some more dirt work, and then our slab. So the plumber came out and did the rough-in stuff and the concrete. And I didn't even interact with our concrete guy. He was just here, got it done, and it was great.
I met with him once, to give him a check. And
It was so smooth and so fast. So then we needed to let that cure for a few weeks. And that was pressing because we really wanted to have as much time as possible in the house before the end of the school year, because you're a teacher, or the end of the summer. Because you're a teacher, and we're not looking forward to those extreme hours during the school year. If possible. We knew it would happen, but less was better. And at the same time, I was awaiting a deadline to try and get my electrical hookup done, getting electric accessible to me so, we could get things rolling there. And that was a little nerve-wracking too, because it took time to cross the state highway. But we got it in fairly quickly. So then that takes us to late June, I believe. And then by middle or late July, the house was up. Our interior framing was done. Our builder was so fast. His team was so incredible. Every time we came by just to look at things, like they were such a great team together and so full of integrity and it happened so fast.
Yeah.
And like slabs look so tiny and then suddenly it's up and you're like, oh my gosh.
And jokingly, I remember talking to people saying it helps that our house is super visible on a major highway. And his truck would be here, and like his branding would be on everything. So it was sort of an incentive of like, there's tons of people are seeing him put this house up. So if he's taking a long time or doing shoddy work, like it's not going to be good marketing. But
I feel like he never would. He's always really good and really fast. Great. Part of it was so quick because our design was so simple. Like we just stayed with a simple box with no outcroppings, no anything fanciful. The only fanciful thing is we have that, because we have a steel home, we have that like bit at the bottom that's a different color. But that still didn't really take that long. And they were great too, the people we talked to. Oh my goodness. The exterior of our house. Our supplier for our builder, we highly recommend. Seriously, like and I'm sure if you know me personally, just ask me, I'll let you know. They were incredible. We were kind and interactive with them and stuff, and for some reason that was enough for them to like give us $200 worth of, or was it 300 off of a nicer front door. Like they were just so great and affordable and high quality. Everything that our builder used was top notch, like high quality stuff. None of it was half ASS. So so then we're to middle or late July. At this point I had secured my electrical permit, but so we really needed to get in with utilities, but I kind of wanted to let HVAC and plumbing get more done first. Typically it doesn't matter too much who's doing what first, but I just didn't know. I wanted to stay out of their way. So they took about a week or so before I got in there. So it was late July that I started, and I had some people help me out. And I think I hit it hard for like a week and a half. And within 2 weeks, I believe, I passed my first inspection on the first go. And there were definitely a few troubleshooting things later that I had to do, but it was really confidence boosting to be able to accomplish that. You killed it. And I think I had maybe 2 or 3 little things I had to change, but that was just like I sent her a picture and she's like, all right, great. So that was a huge weight off. Yeah. And I would say, and I even skipped like the beginning of the summer when the builder was building, I was building cabinets like full time. And so you ended up just being with the kids a ton for the first half or more of summer. Chunk of the summer. Which for me is awesome because I like to just have a change of pace after being mostly stay at home during the year. So it was a good little switch where you were literally a primary parent that summer. And I was working my tail end off. So once that was complete, it was finally time to get to finish work, which included insulation, only took a couple days. Yeah. Hot days though. Yes. Oh my gosh. How hot was it? I don't know. It was awful though. Like we got the whole, not hazmat suits, whatever, the whole kit and caboodle, because if anyone's ever worked with drywall, it's not fun. Fiberglass. It's fiberglass stuff, so it's not fun. And I remember, I think I wore mine for like maybe 10 minutes and I was just pouring sweat, and I said, I'll fight the rash and the itchiness and stuff. And actually, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. It was either our second to last day or our last day where I finally got kind of bit in my like the crux of my elbows and stuff like that. I kept mine on and I just basically felt water flowing down my body the whole time. It was very uncomfortable, but I'm known to have sensitive skin to it, so I didn't want to have that. So I did it. I think it was like 85 out when we did the insulation, or 80 and in here or something. It was warmer. So and the house is very hot upstairs too. So we got that. We thought it might take 1 day, but it took 2 days. And we did a lot of insulation. We did even some for sound dampening. But that was done pretty quick. And then, obviously at that point, utilities were all wrapped up for the rough-in. And then it was time for drywall. Which I think we all knew that this would be the task that would be the most dreaded. Yeah. Ultimately, so much drywall. We sent it hard with the last few weeks of summer, we wanted to get this drywall hung, at least. Yep. So we did pay for babysitting over the summer sometimes and into the fall occasionally. And we also had my mom who would do 1 or 2 days a week for us. which was so appreciated. But we would go together a lot during that time, and we would rent the lift. Someone would drive 30, 40 minutes to get a lift, and then bring it back and start work. And then the other person would come a little bit later, and then we'd work together a while, and then first person would go home, and other one would stay late,
and then
utilize the drywall lift until the latest possible time, and then bring it back. Yeah, we rented it 3 separate times.
Yep. And there's a couple of times where, like one time there's two main places that we would get them from, and one of them is a little bit further, like I don't know, an extra 10 minutes, 15-minute drive. But they ended up being way better, just customer service wise,
and rental
the state
wise,
of their state of their equipment. Because there's one time where I went to the nearer one, and they actually had it like in stock or had it there, rented it, come back here. I'm trying to set it up, and a certain, basically not a chain, but a steel wire that has to sit in a pulley wouldn't sit in, and every time we'd lift it, it would spring off the pulley, and so you'd have to. It was just awful.
We couldn't use it. So
I was supposed to get probably 2 hours of work done or something before you arrived. And that whole time was troubleshooting this thing. And then we finally we packed it up and went and brought it back and got a refund, which was great. But then went and went to our more used one, even though they're a little bit further away. But anyways, that was just a day of just frustration.
And that is, for those of you watching, that is a normal part of a build where you're going to have hours that feel wasted because things don't go right. That is normal, but it's absolutely frustrating, especially when you're trying to hit a deadline.
Because we wanted all ceilings done, so that because then we had 2 party days wherein we just asked for help, basically just put an all call out there to anybody.
And he's a teacher, so some students or alumni, some other teachers,
other staff,
and then for me, some family and friends, and we got a lot of support.
Yeah, they were great. They were awesome.
Yes.
Helped us, hauling in drywall, getting it set up, and then of course, hanging walls, because we got pretty much all the ceiling done, except for some downstairs that we hadn't done yet.
You're supposed to do ceilings first, and so we got that pretty much all done, and I feel like I did so much of the ceilings. I was just, I was so over it. And
I don't think I touched, I helped, of course, with almost all the upstairs.
Yeah.
I don't know if I touched any ceilings down here.
Yeah, and actually, some of the guys finished these ceilings for us on the party day, so that was what was left. But if you think about it, I mean, this was not bad compared to other areas where there's lots of rooms. This is very open, so you're pretty much just putting them up whole pieces with a few cutouts. And I got good at cutouts at the end, of course.
And that's the one other thing is when, and that happened a lot, where when you are building and that you don't do these things and you're kind of learning as you go, you kind of troubleshoot, you kind of start to get your feet under you, and then by the time you're like, hey, okay, I'm getting the hang of it, you're about done with your job, with the whole thing. And at least for me, you like look back at the first stuff you did and you're like, oh, I'd kind of like to redo that, but I'm not. So it's just stuck.
If you're gonna do stuff on your own like that, you have to just accept that it's probably not gonna be perfect, and that's okay. And we've always been like that. We just want a comfortable, wonderful place to live. It doesn't have to be free of blemish and high end. It just needs to be really, really good. And that's what it is. Like, I can see so many flaws in our sanding, but anyways, it's whatever. I'm comfortable in our home. We got so over that at that point. So we got everything hung by the end of summer. And that was our goal. We stayed on track almost the whole time. And the reason for that is because they say, whatever you think it's going to take, double that. So we just already did that. We assumed what it might take and then doubled it. And that was how our planning was. And so we were on par, if not slightly ahead, pretty much the whole time. So that felt really good. But then we get to the school year and we get to sanding. So mudding and taping and sanding. So our schedules changed significantly.
In a typical week, I would go in every weekday. Our house is very, very close to the school I work in, super close. So usually my routine was, I'm a morning person, so my routine is get up ungodly early, go work out at the school, do all my things beforehand, shower at the school, do all my stuff, in the morning. And then after school, I have to wait till my contract time, and then I'm out of there. I don't have to do any grading or prep in the afternoon. But that kind of got thrown into a disarray because my mornings I would spend several hours at the house, early.
Yeah.
And so I would be here mudding and taping, and then eventually sanding. And everyone said drywall was going to be the worst. And
hanging the drywall was not the worst.
hanging drywall wasn't too bad. I actually really enjoyed mudding and taping personally.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
Sanding,
once we got
though,
the hang of it.
and I did the majority of the sanding. And that, by far,
You did do more of the sanding,
was
I will
the worst.
admit.
Worst job of the whole thing.
Yeah, it was. And it's apparent because as we go, our work is less detailed because we just got to a point where we're like...
And that's one thing
can't.
I've told numerous people is it stinks that all the jobs that make your house pretty are at the end of the process when we were just exhausted and just wanted to move in and like get through it. And so even like the trim, which I actually enjoyed the trim, but after the 10th morning that I'm cutting trim and nailing and stuff, it's like there's gaps. That's just how it's gonna be. I'll work on them later. And so,
which, to be fair, like it's easier to fix up trim and make it look pretty using some aids afterwards versus the sanding. I mean, you're kind of stuck with that.
Yeah,
you can't really sand through paint. But again, I'm okay with that, and I'm glad we didn't put too much pressure because that was the worst part of the whole build.
Yes.
And the sanding took, I think, 3 weeks. It was like long.
Right.
I think, I'm not positive, but I think we were done sanding, like mudding, taping, sanding, probably like middle of October, something like that. Now for me, now I'm stay-at-home mom again. I think I stopped doing my 1 day a week of massage therapy at the end of August so I could commit that day to work. And I was doing 3 days a week, 12 to 14 hour days. So I would do 2 during the week and 1 on Saturday. We always had Sunday together and then usually a couple hours on Wednesday or something. But that was it. Other than that, you were at the house like 3 evenings a week.
Every morning, and then 2 or 3
evenings a week, and then I was there 3 full days. So so we were hitting it so hard. And again, I loved it, but it was exhausting.
Yes.
So I did, at that point, I also got some help from my brother who was homeschooled that year. So he came with me once a week to help me with whatever was going on. And that was great. So great for just hanging out with my bro like that. It was awesome. And he did a lot of cleaning and a lot of the grunt kind of work, but he also helped us prime and paint. And it was just so great whenever someone decided to come and help. That was huge for us. But we trucked along, and I think I did all the interior doors. You did all the trim eventually, which was last. We did pretty much 50-50 on paint, I would say. Yeah,
because you did, I did almost all the ceilings, I believe.
But then the boring part.
But then you did almost all of this, I believe, down here.
Yeah.
And then the upstairs was much more split.
Yep, and then the electrical trim out, which I kind of thought was going to be more time consuming. I just kind of did it as I went. And it went by really fast. And once I finally had her out to inspect for my final inspection, that also went great with, I think, 2 or 3 changes that needed to be made that I sent her pictures of. So I got my sticker the first time, and it felt so good. Again, to pass that checkpoint and be like, okay, now we're free to just use our electricity as needed. Instead of using these lights and a generator, we were, able to use our power freely. That was awesome.
Speaking of generators.
Oh gosh, let's talk about generators for a second. So we had a unit nearby, which we stored all of our stuff that didn't fit in my parents' house
a whole storage unit, locked and everything.
Locked, a professional one we paid for, and in the spring 2025 it got broken into, and when we first kind of looked at it, we didn't notice anything was gone, but we had a police report and we just let them know what happened. Come to find out, when we were ready to come get our generator out of there, that was gone. We scoured the whole thing top to bottom. It was gone. So I didn't really help with moving, so I didn't have a mental picture of where that was.
And I had no clue for sure. And I was like, but I thought we remember planning to have it near the front, which makes the burglary easier, but we were hoping that we would have it accessible to us easier when we needed it.
And so that was gone, and that was $1,000 gone, boom. So we needed a generator that day. we needed it for our builder. So we went and bought one off the shelves and we used it. We used it for all the time we needed it. And right as I was about to put it into the garage, it had been chained to a tree with a mid-range chain and lock. It was covered and protected a little bit from the eye. It was stolen again, cut off the tree and gone the morning I was planning to put it away. So we lost 2 generators during this build.
Infuriating.
Another grand gone. And I just remember having a moment of lost faith in humanity, of like how it feels like I've never really been stolen from before in that way. And it just feels so, it's depressing. It's depressing that people would do that, and it's infuriating. So that was a bump, probably one of the biggest bumps in our build but that's a part of it. You do lose stuff. Yeah. And apparently we lost some other stuff early in the year that our builder just kind of rolled with. He lost $1,000 worth of roofing underlayment. So we had about $3,000 stolen during our build. We weren't able to get any of that back from insurance. But if that's the worst of it, then I think we're pretty blessed. But
it did adjust how we planned for security and just a few other things. It was like, oh, okay.
We didn't realize that the place was prone to that kind of crime. Yeah. And so now we're more cautious about things, and we don't leave things laying around, and we have a camera and all of that. So but anyways, now we're in around the middle of October. The walls are just about ready for priming and painting, and so we're cleaning them off. And we're priming the entire house. And then paint is usually 2 layers, maybe even 3, depending on which one it is. And we're just trucking away the same schedule, 2 nights a week for you, all the mornings, and then 3 full days for me. And I'm eating a lot of food from the gas station.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
And, at home, I mean, it's just survival, really. Like, even though I absolutely love to be with my children, being in that small space and being exhausted from the full-time weeks I was putting in, full hard labor. I was getting so strong, but I was so tired, and it was just hard to even be present at home. But I knew it was only for a short time and it would be over. We were just trying to get it done as fast as possible. We wanted to be in before the snow flied. So toward the end, we're doing doors and trim. You did all the trim. I didn't touch it, which it was kind of good for us to divide and conquer rather than meddling in each other's tasks.
Why didn't wait? I thought you did this, or I got to this place. Now you take over,
and also it's easy to judge each other's jobs, but it's much easier when you're doing your own job and you realize, okay, this is hard and I'm gonna get better, and you can kind of hone it and get better. Yeah, right. And you just let the other person do the same thing, and it's just true that you're going to have mistakes or things come up, and it just gave each other grace, and it just took some of the weight off to know, okay, I don't even have to deal with that. I get to focus on this. And we didn't work together much at all during
just early on in the summer.
We did some Saturdays here and there, but generally speaking, we were mostly working separately, which worked well for us. We just happened to thrive doing that for the most part. At least I did. I'm sure you would have been fine. But
I thought it was good.
Yeah. So then we're coming in on, it's the end of the project. We need to, throughout the whole process of the loan, we're making sure that these liens are getting signed from contractors, so everything's wrapped up before we do our next draws. We probably did 4 draws. We paid all of our finish work cash, which was, I think it was only $35K for finish work, maybe 40. Which I can totally do a monetary breakdown in another video if someone's interested. Just let me know. But we were getting to that point where we just needed some things to be wrapped up from the bank before we moved in, and we waited until things were wrapped up before making that plunge for the most part.
Yeah. We also did flooring.
Yeah. Oh yeah, flooring. Let's touch on that one, because I feel like you did the majority of the flooring. Yeah. Because,
I think I did.
You did. So, I mean...
Yeah, it wasn't much. I mean, we had just some different... Well, you did the tile stuff in the bathrooms.
I did the bathroom tiles.
But it was the stick-on tiles, not
I had to use adhesive, though, still. So, it was pretty involved. But you did all the carpets in vinyl. I didn't have to touch that.
Yeah, so we've got some of the higher end snap together planking stuff for our like kitchen and then entryway and one other like little nook that we have, and then lots of carpet, just big carpet spot downstairs, and then pretty much the entire upstairs.
Yeah.
And I had done more demo on carpeting and padding and stuff than I had installation, so I knew a little bit of how it went.
How the structure
I had
would look.
taken
when
it
you
apart
took it down.
before, but
Yeah.
then
we did so much research, guys. Like
yeah, we did.
We did so much research during the winter and a little bit during the project too, where we're just making sure we're doing things as correctly as possible. And when we're buying our stuff, making sure we're getting the right stuff.
Yeah, but it's flooring, and then trim
and then I forgot too about putting in the kitchen.
Yep, a few installation things.
Because we had a friend store our cabinets for a couple months. Yeah. And then we got them moved into here. And so I slowly was installing cabinet bases and then cabinets and putting this whole kitchen together, getting the laminate tops installed. And that was a huge process. I think that's why I wasn't in much on the flooring or trim.
Because you were leveling
because I was putting so much into this kitchen and our bathroom vanities and stuff. Yeah. And I'm so proud of it. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we had to stain though as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Which I actually didn't expect to stain at all before we moved in, but we did get some done, like most of it.
Almost all of it.
And then we finished the rest within a week or two. Like we stayed on it for a couple weeks just to get certain things done. Yeah.
And so we moved in, was it the week of Thanksgiving or the week before Thanksgiving? One of the two.
It was November 23rd that we moved in. I moved the rabbitry on the 22nd, and then our family moved on that Sunday. And we had, again, a lot of help.
And that was really fast, though.
It did.
It took us
because of the manpower that we had and the fact that our unit's so close. Yeah. Like, I think we did one load from the house that day and from where we were living.
And that was by far took the longest.
Yeah.
Was that morning.
Yeah. Like, we had more at my parents' than I thought.
Yeah.
That was...
I think you have all that much stuff. When you see it getting packed into trailers and cars, you're like, oh, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and when you see it out of any form of storage, sitting in your brand new spacious house...
It's taking up
I literally was like, let's throw half of this away. We're on the same page. Great. But of course, when you start putting things away, it's literally like, wait, we really just have mostly the basics. Like, we really don't have that much stuff. We don't have all that much. But when it's all in a room, it is so overwhelming. Yeah. But we moved in that day. Like, we didn't settle in more. We moved in, and we had a couple rooms upstairs functional and not, like, packing in there for the kids and for ourselves. And then the rest was just boxes everywhere. There's still boxes in a lot of places, but we're slowly chipping away at it. I think we were really good the first week or two to get certain jobs done, and then we just kind of crashed. I mean, I still had to put vents in for the microwave and the dryer, and had to diagnose a dryer issue that we had to replace the dryer because we had it in storage all year. Although our washer was fine, our dryer was not. And so just little troubleshooting things, of course, when you're settling into a new space, but ultimately we got to kind of take a breath. And then
you're talking about the snow flying, then the snow flew
literally
pretty much right afterwards.
The next
because we had a couch that we had been essentially given or whatever, and it had been in storage, and we got it in the house, and we were like, no, that's not the thing. We got a new one. We already had a new one.
This was ordered by accident on the perfect timing. Yeah. Like we didn't know how early we needed to do it. But for a date idea, you were just like, let's go check out some furniture. And turns out it was Labor Day sale. Yeah. And it was gonna arrive right at move-in. So thank God for looking over.
Yeah, then we had an old leather couch. It wasn't very big. It was just, essentially,
it was
3 seats, 3 cushion or whatever.
Typical sofa.
But it was like, we're just going to put it out on the highway. Someone will take it, for free. And then it literally snowed like the next day or 2 days later. So it's just covered in a snowbank.
We ended up having to get it hauled away.
Yeah. And again, someone kind of reached out to us like, hey, do you need that removed? And we were like, yeah, we were eventually going to get to it. But... and he's like, I'll come grab it. Just pay me, give me money. Just give me money for the fee. And it was great.
Yeah. Very, very kind. So we moved in. We've been in for 4 months now. So that's kind of like the timeline of things. And I would say it took a couple months for it to feel like home. But now it's like I couldn't imagine anything else. And it's crazy how long and yet how quickly last year went. Yeah. Like, it was this whole process, but the whole time you're so focused on this goal and you're working so hard that kind of time flies. And so, yeah, that's kind of a general timeline of everything and some stories and some facts. Let's touch on our least and most favorite of the build, because I know there's at least one other for you that was a least favorite.
Oh, really? Sanding was by far the least favorite.
You had one other challenging moment with the mailbox.
Oh. Yeah. And I still don't like how it looks right now either.
Oh.
So mailboxes, folks. Even when you do lots of research and call people, and I called, the county, and I called, who's the other person I called? The post office themselves. And I probably got in touch with them, I don't know, probably 2 times each, just wondering about things. And so I had purchased, and we looked at one, we're like, oh, it's beautiful. It's kind of like wooden, no, I guess it was a black steel pedestal thing. And it's kind of this big green mailbox that kind of matches the house. And it's just, I liked it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then one day as I'm driving on the highway, I'm like, oh, every single mailbox has the same post system.
Ugly bar.
And I'm like, that's like probably not a coincidence. And that was brought up.
But you didn't think about that until after, did you?
We had ordered it already.
Yeah.
But then I knew then, before we'd even gotten the mailbox, I'm like, ooh, something got overlooked here. Like, either my communication with them wasn't clear, or their communication with me wasn't clear, whatever it was. And so I finally found online the actual like diagrams of everything, rather than just taking notes as they were explaining to me over the phone. And so I finally got everything. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I had to order, a swing away or whatever it is, mailbox post.
Because we're on a main highway,
yep.
So it's like a safety thing,
and
also with plows and stuff.
Yep. And so, this is safe for the plows when they're knocking.
But then that's wasted money, and
right.
Also they're not even made for what they need to be.
Yeah, and according to the information I was given, and on the diagram, it had to be so deep, and the standard size of the swing away mailbox didn't meet that requirement. And so I put together this whole kind of actually ended up being pretty sturdy, and I was very, very proud of it. Had some cement and used kind of Frankenstein with the old steel post and wedges.
The old nice steel post to bury in the ground.
Yeah, but I had wedge. It was actually I thought it was pretty good. It was all cemented together essentially, and I'm like, this is awesome. Get it put in, and then 3 days later, there's a notice in our mailbox that's on the wrong side of the highway. Once again,
if we had been staring at that and that was our only focus of the whole build, maybe we might have noticed that they're all on the same side. But again, it was never communicated.
Sense. But no, that was never said, making sure, what side of the, where's your address, and make sure it's on the, north side or the east side or the south side of the highway. Some of the basic facts you would think
that you would be told by them when you call them didn't get told.
And there was lots of kind of ask them situations where it was you ask mom, if you can go to a friend's house, and she says that's dad, and the dad says that's mom. So I'd call the county, and they'd say you should check with the post office. And the post office I'd have a question, and I'd say, well, we don't handle that. That's the county. And then it was a state, because it's a state highway, so it's just all over the place. But I'm like, well, again, I probably should have seen that or noticed that, but that didn't come up in my conversations with them. It didn't come up on my personal research. So it's just all the important information just fell through the cracks, and I got all of the less important stuff that I was focused on. So then I had to dig it up and cut down, and I couldn't get it all out because I basically cemented it to the earth. So I dug out enough, as much as I could, and then sliced through it with a Sawzall, and I went through several blades because the steel post was
solid.
Well made by that company. But anyway, so then I cut that out several, a couple feet deep.
Job.
So there is still a steel post in the ground, but someone's gonna have to dig a ways to find it. And so then I had to put it on the other side, and now I just have barely enough material. And so now with the weather turning warm and the ground getting softer, it's leaning a little bit more than I like. Yeah. And so
it's just, again, when I say budget for wasted time, that's what the whole add double means. Add double because there's going to be wasted time, troubleshooting, mistakes that need to be fixed. Now, ultimately, some people will say DIYers spend more money because they make more mistakes. Mm-hmm. We did not really spend much more money due to DIY mistakes. maybe like
And that was my
1,000,
biggest mistake of the
1,000
whole
maybe.
of the whole process. So.
But 1,000 is a drop in the bucket when you're building a 300K house.
Yeah.
So, I had to get real comfortable with spending money that year. I was constantly spending several grand through Menards. I was on top of getting rebates. I was always sending in those receipts. Yeah. And then what was a favorite for you? What was some of the parts that you actually enjoyed more?
I would say, honestly, mudding and taping, I actually really enjoyed, especially the taping part. Like the first layer of mud, I thought was enjoyable. It was pretty satisfying, and I thought I got pretty decent at it as time went on. Then the other one, I liked painting, but I had painted before as a job, so
it was already tainted.
A little
bit. There was no novelty.
It was cool to see the colors go on.
You
but
had
I probably
some
would
of the
say,
skill though, which was nice.
I would probably say, my first day of the snap together flooring did not go very good. Just trying to figure out how it worked and the correct angle, and it just was not going very well. But then the second day was like night and day difference, and so that ended up being really satisfying to really get into a groove. And after my first day of doing the flooring, I'm like, this is going to take me all week to do, because I'm only working in a couple hour increments. So by the time I get and it's not that much equipment, but tape measure and knife and get ready, and I have a podcast on, so by the time you kind of set everything up, it's been like, oh man, I've only got an hour and 40 minutes left, and so on and so forth.
That would be frustrating, because I worked such long days, and you were so incremented during that time.
But then after that, it went so much better and so much faster, and once you kind of get a hang of something, that ended up being really, really fun, because
that's the thing, once you got in a groove,
good at it,
then it was fun.
And the flooring's gorgeous, and it's great, so it looks nice.
For me, the same worst would be sanding. We both agree that is the worst of the build. It is. I understand that people who do it professionally have an entire gear thing and excellent tools, and we did have an electrical sander for some of it, but oh my gosh, guys, it was grueling. And then you come home, we didn't have all this equipment, so we're covered and caked. Every orifice of our body is just caked with mud, basically. So, and it could not have been good for our lungs. And I wore a mask mostly.
Protection.
But still, it wasn't fully protective. Right. And then the ports on our phones were not working because they were caked.
This gets everywhere.
It's just so bad. And I don't understand. I know someone else who's living in their home that's not fully sanded. And I'm like, can you imagine living in that home that's not fully sanded? No. You have to be sanded before you move in, because the amount of dust, and also drywall dust is the worst dust. It touches moisture and it
starts gooping.
It goops. It is terrible. So please, at least do all your sanding, and then you're pretty much good to go. You'll be fine. But do all your sanding. Get it done with.
What was your favorite?
Favorite? I mean, it's hard for me, honestly, to pick a favorite, because I feel like I really enjoyed so much of it. I think I enjoyed the confidence boost of the electrical passing. It was grueling on a couple of days. But generally speaking, I did enjoy it. And I didn't like the research at first, but after the first 100 hours, I really started to get into it. And I'm like, I actually kind of enjoy this. So doing that was fun. But I honestly loved all of it. And just, again, knowing that you put in so much to make this happen, that feeling of accomplishment. And again, I just like doing odd jobs. I like working. I like doing manual labor. And so I don't know, I liked painting. I did some art designs throughout the house that was super
really
fun,
nice.
using painter's tape to kind of spruce it up. And I liked the trim out for the electrical. So I would say I don't really have one standout favorite. I genuinely enjoyed it. So
it was good.
Let's see if we have some other categories here. So the main one left would be just touching again on everyone's generosity. Because if it weren't for the many, many people and their many, many hours, we would not have been able to do this like this.
Do you remember what the count was? It was something, we probably had 40 people all said and done who helped out in some way, shape, or form.
For maybe 4 hours or more at least. Something around
and
40.
most of them, weren't with us the whole ride, even if it was just a day, but still. We had lots of people that gave us their time and their energy and their knowledge, and and even their equipment. Someone left a
Yes.
step stool here that we used the whole time.
We still have
And
it. I'm like,
do we still have it?
yeah. And I'm like, we need to
I
get
thought they
this
got it back.
back to the
No, they only
person.
live like 2 miles away, but I thought it was person A's, and I was talking to him the other day, and person B overheard me, and he's like, oh, actually, I think that's mine, and I was like, oh, that's yours.
We need
Well,
to
it's
get
been
that
great
back to
because
him.
we've used it a ton.
We have. I did almost get injured once while building this house.
Yeah.
I fell off pretty hard, but other than that, we were okay.
Yeah.
No one who helped got injured. We had helpers with clearing, a lot with drywall, a little bit with painting here and there, and a little bit with moving.
Yeah, and then
Those
storage,
would be,
like storing
yeah,
the cabinets.
storage. Just generally like babysitting and housing, like in so many different ways we were supported during this time, which made this possible.
And even our contractors got paid. They still were almost all across the board incredible.
And
Some
they helped
communication
us
things here
out
and there,
whenever
but
we
overall.
had questions
Yeah,
or
they were
issues
great.
later on. I really appreciated all of them. Like our dirt guy, he went and cleared more trees for us just for fun, like just some brush in an area that wanted
Push
to
some
be
stuff
yard
back.
eventually. You know, he pushed our mound way back instead of putting it in the yard like we were prepared to do because budget. People were so great and so generous. I would say one of the downs for me with the build was the well, because the company was just not super on top of getting in touch with people. And I understand that drilling wells is weather specific, but I couldn't seem to get scheduled. It was a very last minute thing, and sometimes it was on days I couldn't be there.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't agree. And so we got our well much later than we wanted to. But I mean, other than that, I loved all our contractors pretty much. They all did great.
Yeah.
So we're so grateful for everyone who made this possible, the people who were hired or the people who volunteered their time.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've got some things to do yet to work on the property. We need to plant seed, to have a yard.
Lots of yard stuff.
A little bit of fencing just for ease, to have space for the kids to play. But overall, we're in our home and we love it. Oh, and also we designed it too, so that's another thing we did on our own and had to do during the winter. And so seeing our own design in real life is pretty cool.
And we only made like one, I mean, as far as I can remember, only one big change to one color. I don't know, like otherwise our layout got shifted a little bit due to necessity, but I mean by, was it 6 inches
Yeah.
upstairs? But overall everything essentially went the way we thought it was going to go and ended the way we thought it was going to go. And
Yeah, we did last minute add in getting our wood stove installed. That was
True,
not the
true.
plan.
That's right.
But I remember just seeing our walls were open and I'm like, why
Might as
would
well.
we not put our chimney up right now? At
And then
least
they're
the
being
chimney. And then they
expensive.
they were big on like, let's just get it in, you know, let's
Yeah.
get this wood stove in by August. And I was like, okay.
And so I wasn't planning on learning how to tile, like real tile, and so that was fun.
Yeah, you had to do a
Actually, I
little
didn't mind
tile
that.
patch.
Actually, wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I feel like you could do more of
The
that.
sanding and cleaning took a while. 'Cause
Yeah.
The grout just gets everywhere. But overall, it was pretty pleasurable, and I thought it went fine. I could,
Yeah.
so.
So
And then we changed a green to a dark blue instead.
yeah.
And I don't know.
So
We both like color, but I was a little nervous. Like we had a lot of different colors in the house for different rooms and stuff, and I was like, it looks good in our head, but let's see what it looks like when it's in reality.
our house doesn't have that cohesive throughout feel. It has the pop of color feel, and I love all of them.
Yeah, I like them too.
I wouldn't change a thing. Any lessons you learned, any growth we had, anything like that to finish off the video?
Everything, all of it. Yeah.
I earned a lot of grit, and I learned a lot of strength that got me out of some of my chronic pain, which was really amazing.
Yeah.
I always had hardworking nature, but I really learned how to put in the time when you literally felt like you could barely lift your finger. And that, again, made me stronger. And then working through some of the emotional stuff that came up, living at home again, has been adding new levels of healing that I didn't know I needed.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
I learned that Quick Trip has actually pretty good like veggie trays.
You got veggie trays?
Well, yeah, after several days of just eating Quick Trip burgers in the parking lot, just so I can get something on my stomach before I go to sleep, I was like, I gotta do something. And they're little dip or whatever with it was pretty good. So if you need some veggies, Quick Trip's got some options. So you know.
Anything else you learned?
So many skills. I mean,
Yeah.
a few things I dabbled in before or been a part of projects, but to have to do it yourself, yeah. Everywhere, everything from drywall to laying carpet to painting and sanding. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, a lot of things.
It's cool. It builds confidence to have so many things that you've done like that. And, you know, for me, it just means that in the future, if I can help someone else, I have some of the ability to do so. And I hope I can give back to some of the people who helped us so much.
Yes.
Yeah. So all in all, I would say it was a very good experience, especially when people talk about building a house. It's normally stressful and negative for them. I would say our experience was heavily blessed, and I felt God's grace on it the entire way. I felt there were so many moments where I was like, oh, God enabled this because there were so many roadblocks dodged or timing or whatever. Like, he was just really managing it. He was the best general contractor that you could have.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I think we had the gift of his grace because he endorsed this project. If we had just done it on our own because we wanted to, maybe it would have been a little more stressful. But and then in the end, we ended up with a loan that we can afford without feeling strapped all the time. Absolutely. And space to grow into, and so much blessing. There's so much luxury, to be honest, in a house of this size. And I feel very honored and blessed to have the opportunity to live in a beautiful home like this. For hopefully forever. This is hopefully the last place we'll ever move to.
Yep.
God willing.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. This is kind of, again, just a journal entry. So, future us, hope you're still grateful and loving a beautiful home with flushing toilets and hopefully water that doesn't stain your sink. And yeah, I mean, it was a crazy, crazy whirlwind of a time. And if I had known how exhausted I'd have been and how crazy it would have been, I would have dreaded it more, maybe. But ultimately, I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm so grateful we had the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, I agree. What's that?
All right. Thanks for watching.